it's a calculation I've been doing for most of my adult life, since I was a teenager, really. It's a calculation that has been tyrannizing my life for for the better part of 30 years. It is a calculation that has left me tired and exhausted and unable to get to the things in my life that bring me joy. I wonder if you're doing the same thing. Hey everyone, this is Andrew Burns, founder of runningtokeepup.com, founder of adventuresin.marketing, and this is the Running to Keep Up show. So, what is this calculation that I am talking about? Well, it is to do with the time that I set my alarm in the morning. What I do is, or what I've done for a long time, is I go to bed at a random time based on a whole variety of things, what time I ate dinner and what's on the TV and who knows what. I go to bed and then I set my alarm, and I set the time that I set my alarm for is based on the calculation. I think to myself, what time have I got to be out of the house, or what time have I got to take action? I take an hour off that time, and that's the time that I set for my alarm. So there's no consideration to how much sleep I need. There's no consideration to the comfort of or the relaxation of a morning. It's just, what time have I got to take action? Give myself enough time to get ready ahead of that action. Set my alarm for that time. Bang, done. That is a calculation I've been doing since I was a teenager. When I was a teenager, I probably wasn't taking an hour off the time that I needed to be up. I only lived 5 minutes from the school gates. I was probably giving myself 10 minutes before I set my alarm. So, but I was a teenager. I was tired a lot of the time. It was fine. But when I went and got my first job, so the first job, my first job out of university was as a scientist, I was still doing this calculation. I was thinking to myself, right, I need to be in the lab at 8 o'clock. That means I need to leave the house at 20 to 8. That means I need to get up at 20 to 7. And that's how it worked. And then as my career progressed, my job changed. I became a sales guy. I was out on the road. I could be anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, actually, as my career progressed. I was still doing the same calculation. And what I found was I was getting myself more and more tired. I was finding that I had less and less time for the things that brought me joy in my life. So I wasn't able to spend quality time with my family. I wasn't able to get to the things that I really love doing. So for me, that's writing. I want to write. I just wasn't finding time for it. I wasn't getting to it. And even though I tried to work that into my working day, so what I would think to myself was, I'm going to write for half an hour at the end of each working day. I would schedule it in my calendar, and I just wouldn't get to it. So, or I'd get to it for a couple of days, and then something would happen. It would knock me off track. You know, I would be too tired, or there'd be something that I had to attend to at work, or whatever. I just wouldn't get to it. Mostly I was just getting more and more tired. I wonder whether you ever feel like that. And it's because we're not managing our sleep properly. So eventually I figured this out. And what I started to do was acknowledge how much sleep I need every night. I probably need 8 hours as a constant amount of sleep that I can get. So I started to go to bed at a fixed time to give myself 8 hours, and I would get up at a fixed time, and then I would have given myself an extra hour or an hour and a half to get stuff done, to do stuff. So what was I doing in that an hour and a half time? Now, maybe you're familiar with a book by Brian Tracy called Eat That Frog. Actually, as I look at the camera now, just past the camera behind you, not behind you, but behind the camera, there's a bookshelf, and I can see it there. It's a thin green book, Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. And the idea, I think the title of the book is based on a quote from Mark Twain. And the idea is that each morning, the first thing you do is the hardest thing you have to do that day. So if the hardest thing you have to do that day is eat a frog, then that is the first thing you should do every day. Now, let me tell you, I don't agree with that at all. I hate that idea. It really doesn't work for me. What I found while I was trying to getting control of my sleep patterns was that if I woke up in the sure and certain knowledge that I was going to have to eat a frog first thing as soon as I got out of bed, it did not encourage me to bound out of bed. It did not get me out of bed with joy and excitement. In fact, what it made me do was roll over and go back to sleep. Think, screw that, I'm not ready to face this day yet. So what I started to do was use that extra hour and a half that I was carving out for myself to write, to do something that I really wanted to get to do something that I found joyful, to do something that I hadn't really been making time for. And that worked really well for me. I became much more prolific. I was able to write and publish much more. And the joy of that first hour of the day doing something that I really enjoyed set me up for a much happier day. I felt much more energized. I felt less tired. It worked really well for me. And then, out of the blue, who saw it coming? Well, some people saw it coming, but I certainly didn't. The coronavirus pandemic, a global pandemic. And in the UK, what we faced was lockdown. We weren't allowed to leave our houses other than to buy groceries for the best part of a year, really. Only now is that lockdown really being lifted. And what I found myself doing in that year is slipping back to the old calculation. It's like my brain said, you're at home all the time anyway. You've got plenty of time to do this writing that you're so in love with. Why are you getting up so early? And I stopped it. And I slid so easily, so comfortably back into making that calculation. The time that I was going to bed and going to sleep got away from me. I started thinking to myself, right, I've got to be on a Zoom call at 8:30 in the morning. I don't need to get up until 7:30. That's what time I set the alarm for. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing through lockdown. And I've been feeling more and more tired. I've been finding less and less time to write. There's been less and less joy in my life. I'm a pretty happy guy, but there's less happiness in my life as a result of slipping back under the tyranny of this calculation. And I wonder whether you are doing the same thing. I wonder whether you are not managing your sleep in the same way. So I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to challenge you to do the same thing. Figure out how much sleep you need. What's optimal? For most people, that's 8 hours. Don't kid yourself that you're one of those superhumans that can function on less. All that happens is your sleep debt accumulates and you'll crash and burn. So 8 hours is probably right. What time do you want to get up in order to achieve that extra hour in the morning? Take 8 hours off that. That's the time that you've got to go to sleep. Make it a routine. Do it every night, even at the weekends. Still get up early at the weekends. And suddenly you will have all of this time carved out in the morning. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to be creative? Are you going to eat the frog? Is that something that works for you, even though it doesn't work for me? Sorry, Brian Tracy and Mark Twain. It doesn't work for me. But maybe it works for you. Maybe that's something that you could do. Maybe you could be creative. Maybe you could write in the same way that I'm doing, or record those videos that you've been meaning to record, or get that podcast created that you've been meaning to create. Whatever it is, find some joy in it. Let that joy drag you out of bed in the morning after you're well rested, after your 8 hours of sleep. Go ahead, do that. I would love to hear about how you get on. I'll keep you updated how I get on as well. And together, let's bring more joy in our lives. Let's get out from under the tyranny of the calculation and yeah, let's be the best versions of us that we can be. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've been Andrew Burns. This has been the Runner to Keep Up show, and I will talk to you again soon. Hey my friend, thank you so much for watching this video. It really means a lot to me that you would take your personal development time and spend it with me. I'm so grateful for that, thank you. What I would ask you to do is subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so I can let you know the next time I post a video. And if you have any comments, drop them below. I love hearing from you guys. It's your comments that really keep me on my toes and direct the next videos that I'm going to record. So yeah, tell me what you think, and I'll catch you next time.